Welcome, everyone. My name is Roland. Program is called Shedding Shackles. Today, I want to talk about meditation, maybe in a way you've never heard before. We know that there are a lot of meditations out there. You've probably tried some yourself, or biofeedback exercises. And we sense that it would be good for us. We sense that. We know that we have to calm down a little bit. We know we have to get centered. We know that we get upset too easily. We know that we get anxious and nervous, and we sense that those are not good. And we want to do that. And we also sense that when we're upset, we yell at our kids. We're short with people. We are rude. Sometimes we don't want to be rude. We don't want to be impatient, but we are. And we don't want to be that way. So we look for something. And maybe the first thing we look for is a little biofeedback exercise or a little mindfulness exercise, a little meditation. And we also look to prayer, some of us, especially those of us who have been raised in an environment where prayer is something that people do. So we try all of those, but somehow they don't work. Yeah, they help a little bit, but the truth of the matter is they haven't really worked. They've helped, but they're not the answer. And so we keep searching for the answer. And we might think, well, maybe there is no answer. Maybe it's all kind of palliative. You know, you do the best you can. You take a little vacation. You go for a walk. On weekends, you listen to nice music. You do a little meditation here and there. You listen to you get a podcast about spirituality. It's helpful, but it's not the answer. So the question is there an answer? And there is an answer. And how do we know there's an answer? Because we sense deep down that there is an answer. And there's another way we know. It's by external evidence. We hear or we read that there have been some people who have found the answer. We hear about mystic people like John of the Cross, people like Madame Guyon, people like St. Francis de Sales, people like Teresa of Avila, people like Brother Lawrence, Thomas à Kempis. They seem to have found the answer. And they probably did find the answer. We want the answer. So we read what they have to say. What did Brother Lawrence have to say? What did Thomas à Kempis have to say? What did Teresa of Avila have to say? Well, we read, and once again, it's helpful. But somehow there's a gap. Somehow there's something missing. Well, I am here to tell you, and you don't have to believe me. There's no reason to believe me other than that it sits right with you what I say, or that somehow you sense deep down that what I'm saying is true. Or on the other hand, if there's something in you that bristles, something in you doesn't like what I have to say, well, if there is something in you that doesn't like it, then that is also proof that there must be an answer and that there's something that doesn't want you to find the answer. So what is the answer? The answer is to find a way to actually connect with your Creator. He is your closest relative. He is your Creator, and in His image you were made. And you know that there is a Creator. How do you know? Well, there's a couple of ways. One way you know is because you play Him. That's right. See, isn't it interesting that we all play God? Some people deny that God exists, but we play him. We act like we judge. See, God is a king and a judge. And so we're that way too. We act like a king or a queen, and what do we want? We want people to admire us, to worship us, to honor us, to respect us. And then we judge people. We condemn them, we judge them when we see them do something wrong, and then we condemn them. See? And not only that, but we also want to be right and never got wrong. See, God is right and never wrong. He is always right and never wrong, and that's the way we want to be. We don't want to admit we're wrong. So the next time somebody points something out, you don't like it, you don't want to admit it, you make an excuse or deny it. See, you're playing God. So that's proof that somehow deep in our consciousness, we know that God exists because we play him. And then there's another proof that God exists, and that is that when you play him, you have conflict with him. When you judge other people, that's right, when you condemn them and judge them, you have conflict over it. Your conscience bothers you. See, that's proof that he exists. All right. So, but he's missing. All right. No, he's not totally missing because you sense him. By way of conscience, by way of what you know in your heart, you sense when you have erred. But there has to be a better connection. Have you ever had a situation where you had a radio or maybe a set of earphones? I don't know if this happens to any of you, but it seems to happen to me all the time. I get a pair of earphones or, a headset, or I get some earbuds, and I really like them, but then you know what? Something starts to go wrong with the connection. Somehow it doesn't connect properly, and then one earbud works and the other one doesn't, or sometimes you get a little in and out sounds, you know what I mean. Then you have to jiggle the connection. And, well, that's the way it is between you and God. See, he's there. His light is everywhere. He is everywhere. And if you could just connect with him and stay connected. All right, so there's a little touch of a connection when your conscience bothers you. There's a little touch of a connection when you yearn for a true answer. But you need more of a connection. You need to be so connected with him that even that there are fewer and fewer little disconnects. See, now you're disconnected most of the time, and occasionally, little 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 seconds worth of connection with him when you err, then you sense that you're erred. You need to be connected with him all the time. So connected that you begin to know. See, so that you not only know when you've erred, sense that you've erred, but when you then flow from what is right. See, when that connection is made, then you can flow from what is right. And when you flow from what is right, then your actions will be right. They will have the right timing, the right energy, and so on. So that's what you need to do. And so how do you connect with him? Well, you have to want to know the truth. You have to be willing to know the truth, even if you realize that you're wrong. You're willing to realize that you're wrong because you love truth. You want to know the truth more than you want to protect your own ego. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is you have to search. Now, a lot of us have searched. You've gone to this religious group and that religious group. You've gone to this seminar. You've tried this practice and that practice and this ritual and that ritual. You've tried everything. Somehow you haven't found the answer. Well, just keep searching. Keep searching. It's an attitude of searching, a sincere searching, and a willingness to know the truth that qualifies you for him to begin something, like a little spark, a little flame. He begins it. You yearn for it, then he gives it to you because he's very gracious. So, yearn for it. Now, if what I've been saying sits right with you, then maybe you're ready for something that will help you a little bit. You are sincere now. Maybe you haven't always been sincere. Or yeah, you kind of like religion, you kind of like philosophy, you kind of like mindfulness, you kind of like spirituality, you kind of like people that were honest and straightforward, and you kind of liked truth, and maybe you like science a little bit, and you love children and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you did, but on the other hand, you went slumming. That's right. Friday night, you went slumming, and you were selfish. All right, so you've been selfish. All right, so you made some mistakes. You didn't want to admit it, but maybe now you're ready to admit it. And so, with trepidation, you once again wish to approach and see if you could find the truth. And you would like a little help. Well, if I may humbly say that the little meditation that I have made and the little sitting quietly exercise, either one of them, both of them, just either one, helps you to get started. So I want you to see that your start is a very simple thing. It's more of an attitude. It's more of a refining of your attitude. Maybe you've always liked spirituality, but you weren't quite ready yet. You wanted to taste more of the world. There's something you wanted. You wanted a boyfriend. You wanted people to like you. You wanted people to respect you. You wanted to make more. You didn't want to miss out on what the world had to offer. All right, so you tasted what the world had to offer, and you've seen that there's no answer there. So now you're ready. And so the little meditation or the little sitting quietly exercise helps you get started. You need to be able to sit still. You need to get out of your thoughts. And you need to do that. You need to be able to sit still and get out of your thought and begin a little flow from above, from within and above, through your mind, into your mind and through your body. You need to let that little flow begin. And it helps to have a little something that you can do. Otherwise, you just walk around and say, what do I do? What do I do? Okay, here is something you can do. So here is something you can do. And if you are sincere and you're ready, then it'll work. And within a very short amount of time, in a couple of minutes, you connect. You make the connection. This time you want the connection. See, in the past, you began to connect with your Creator, but immediately the first thing you saw in the light of His truth, you saw that you were wrong, and you didn't want to admit you were wrong. So you fled the light. You see what I mean? Now, Christ said that there are some people in the world who hate the light. There are some people in the world who hate the light. And so you can see there's no hope for them. But if you're listening to this little audio right now, you're not one of them. Yeah, you've temporarily hated it. Yeah, you've temporarily ran from it. Yeah, maybe you blamed God. Maybe you hated your dad. Maybe you resented your mom. Maybe you hated people. Maybe you threw your hands up and said, there is no God. All right, you did that, but you were just like a little kid. You know, little kids, here's a cute joke for you. I'm almost ready to make an end to this recording, but here's a cute little story for you. There was a little girl who was acting really silly and naughty and doing very silly and naughty things the way kids will, and her mom and dad said, hey, stop it, quiet down, stop doing all that silly stuff, but she kept acting silly. And then her mom said, if you don't quiet down, we're going to send you up to bed. So she kept acting silly, and finally the mom said, "That's it. Go to bed. Up the stairs. Go to bed right now." So the little girl stormed up the stairs, slammed the door, and a couple of minutes later, the door opened up, and someone came to the upstairs balcony, threw a wad of paper down. And the mom went and picked up the wad of paper, unwrapped it, unrolled it, and looked in, and opened it up and looked in it, and it was a little letter from her daughter. And it said, "Dear Mom and Dad, I hate you. Love, Nicole." So that's it. So you were a little kid. When you were, throughout your life, you've been like a little kid. So you hated this person, hated that person, you hated God, but you didn't really. Deep down in your heart, you didn't really. So now you're ready to come back with head in hand, humbly. Come back humbly and sit quietly before your Creator and lift up your eyes and inquire of Him and ask quietly without words. Bare your soul to Him. And with the help of the little meditation, you will be able to get started. And maybe within a very, very few minutes, pray God, you'll be on your way. But once you have it, you'll have it for the rest